Hello and welcome to the Cedar Cultural Center live in the West Bank. Sorry for the delay to our start time. We are here live. This is our first public broadcasting channel show live streamed for the Cedar Cultural Center. About 2 months ago we closed our doors due to COVID-19. And we've been looking for a way to continue to connect to our audiences and continue the music and the community work we do. So this is the start of that right now for us. We are going to be launching this channel to provide educational programming, artists, artist discussion, community engagement activities, and we want to welcome you to become involved in that and throw us suggestions and whatnot. The Cedar Cultural Center did I introduce myself?
Yeah, who are you?
I'm David Hamilton. I'm the executive director of the Cedar Cultural Center. The Cedar Cultural Center for 30 years has always been about our community. We've always represented what our community is about, and it has changed over the 30 years from its Scandinavian roots to the last 10 years we started doing programming in the Somali community, as we are in the largest Somali community here in the Twin Cities. We had a very popular program called the Minimo, where we brought Somali artists from all over the world to the Cedar Cultural Center who had never performed in the US, and it was a huge, impactful program for our community. So our goal is always to be about what the community needs and wants, and right now we changed our programming tonight because our community and the United States and the world is dealing with a huge issue that is very important to all of us that needs to change, that has to do with criminal justice reform and the killing of George Floyd. And we are not sure yet all of what we're going to do, but we want to be responsive and we want to be thoughtful in how we were responsive. We want to be meaningful in our impact in our work going forward. We cannot return to business as usual after COVID-19 is over. We need to think about how the Cedar can be responsive and engage with our African American community here and with our Somali community and with supporting the Black Lives Matter movement, which we are taking a strong stance to support. So we are in the process of figuring our way forward. We will look for ideas and suggestions from our communities and to be a part of our live stream program going ahead. So tonight we had changed what we were originally going to do because we are going to live stream an artist project. We have a program called the Artist Collective, which is a program where we bring different artists from different cultural communities in the Twin Cities to engage with the Cedar, to help the Cedar become more representative of the different cultural communities we have here in the Twin Cities, and to address issues around equity and access. Now we are turning the attention with some of our artists to how we can be responsive to the killing of George Floyd. And tonight is one start of that. And we are starting with this mural tonight. We're having Ifrah Mansour, who was over here in the near area, and she's going to come over and talk a little bit and engage with interviewing a community member. So I'm sorry, I'm just calling her over. So we want to, we usually ask the community for donations to help support the Cedar during this challenging time, but we want to direct donations to different Black organizations in the Twin Cities that are working to make this society more equitable. And there's a list on that on our live stream on the YouTube channel. And it's on our newsletter also. So please consider donating to those organizations, as we want to support those organizations and find it very helpful as we move forward. Tonight was made possible by some support from the community. When COVID-19 hit, we had to close our doors, and we did a fundraising campaign, and we got tremendous support over the last few months, which have made this night possible, and will help support our campaign through September of doing live stream events. So I'm sorry, I keep looking over. I'm going to bring Ifrah Mansour over here. Just waiting for her for a second. So Ifrah. So anyways, tonight is the launch of our program, and we'll be doing shows every 2 weeks on our live stream. So I'm here.
She's dressing up. Yes.
I'm gonna switch the mic. Excuse us for a second as we do the little transfer.
It's born on a ghetto day. Are you keeping your corona to yourself?
I got tested 2 days ago and I'm negative.
You're
If that
negative?
helps, yes.
What kind of negative? Is it black people negative?
I got
or
antibody
immigrant
tests.
people negative? Can I help you?
Is there a difference? Wait, are we recording this discussion?
It's everything's
What?
recorded, so
We're in trouble.
transparent.
Clearly, there's a black people negative, there's an immigrant people negative, and there's other people negative. Are you going to be in the nearby,
I can
in the
stay
vicinity?
nearby you.
Yeah.
Even though you
This
can
is
stay nearby
this is
me
kind of
and
funny.
Made me pause and look silly for a
Yeah.
minute, but I won't do you the same way.
Okay, I will. Oh, I'm so sorry. You could do it like it. Okay, payback. Payback.
I love you, my sister.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look, check out this guy. Let's vote for this guy. We can put him over here. Okay. I can go grab my paintbrush. But I was hoping that we would have like just, you know, a silly candid conversation. Do they need us to look at somewhere? Because I'm goofy. We have to look into the camera, introduce ourselves.
I did
Introduce.
sorry.
Oh, I have to do it. Should I do it right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello everyone, salam. I'm Ifrah Mansour. I'm here at my favorite neighborhood, Cedar Riverside, the Plaza of Cedar Cultural Center. I'm here with all these amazing humans. It's growing. We just made this beautiful painting today. It's a work in progress, so forgive us. I'm very goofy, so please forgive me. If you tuned in for a perfect speech, I don't have it. Look elsewhere for a speech, but I'm someone who likes to create art with the community, and it's been really interesting to make this art without everyone. Although I have had a few help, but it's just been really interesting to kind of adapt and to prioritize safety, because that's really important, and especially now. I think it's even more important to express what we care about, who we care about, and to just say that out loud and proudly. I'm calling this the declarative aqal / the Somali had, and we just want to let the world know on behalf of Cedar, behalf of Cedar Cultural Center here, okay, what we care about, and we care about Black Lives Matter.
I want to ask you a little bit about the work you've been doing over the year on the plaza here.
Yeah.
You know, and you had built the first ever Cedar Call.
Yeah.
Can you talk about what that is, why that's important, and what you plan to do going forward?
Yeah. Go for it. This is the part where this would be a cool time if you have more volunteers, since you have all these humans. It'd be interesting to get everyone to be meditating on that question of how we can make Minnesota better for black humans. Oh, did you want me to hold this? Why is this so long? Oh my God!
So Ifrah,
Uh-huh.
we'll just have to hold it for you.
Okay.
And then just point it
Hold
at
it.
David whenever David talks.
Okay, I have to hold it like this.
Mhm.
Okay, all right. The mic is so long. Let's practice this. Are you in the shot? Could I just get a camera and photography? Should I be looking to you, beautiful Aja? And engage the audience as well, and then look at the mic. Okay, sweet. Yeah, that would be something if you're, unless you don't want folks chatting really loudly. Um, correct?
Okay, so let's get back to the question.
Okay.
Which you changed the question, which is fine. So you want to talk about how we can make Minnesota better for Black lives.
That was our prompt, but I really like the question you were asking because
Well,
it connects
I was
to the
pre-prompting
aqal.
you.
Pre-prompt.
So
I love that.
We're gonna get to two questions.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Wonderful. I think for me, like, I do feel like the what is it? The inspiration of creating the aqal, the Somali aqal on the plaza was solely to sort of express to this neighborhood of how we care, and how we can all be a better neighbor, and how we can celebrate each other. I think I have had such like a deep connection and generosity from all the music that happens inside. You just want that art, what is it, that artistic, that cultural celebration to happen outside of the building, and for the community to see that, and for the community to feel reflected and celebrated a bit. And I think this year is very different, right? This year we are all under this, what is it? I do feel like because of social distancing, is like how do you still maintain this? What is it? What is it? What is it? How do you maintain being neighborly and still being welcoming and still letting your community, your neighborhood know that you care for them as an organization, and for me, if I can speak myself as an individual. I just love it when spaces, especially art spaces, sort of like celebrate and let me know that I am cared for, celebrated, I guess wanted. And I think for me, like, especially right now, I do feel like there is that, at the end of the day, that there is that feeling of like, there are a lot of communities that feel unheard, invisible, and what is it? On top of that, brutally murdered. So how do you go from that high energy of deep human disconnect to like say, okay, how can we create moments of compassion, kindness, celebrate each other? So it's just been really interesting for me. Like, I do feel like the Somali aqal is like the ultimate human connection. At the end of the day, it's this. Everyone needs a home. Everyone needs a shelter. But I think what makes home meaningful is the ability for a home to to make you feel belong, to make you feel seen. And I think here at Cedar Community, Cedar Cultural Center, we want to celebrate and let our community know that Black lives matter. We want to see more Black lives thriving. Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's move on to talk about this mural project
Yeah.
and what we are doing with it, or what you're doing with it, or what the community is doing with it,
Yeah.
and how it's going to be used. So that's the question I'm asking you.
I was completely told to hold the mic.
Okay.
So I'm being interviewed as well as being interviewee.
You're scaring me here. Okay.
I hope your awesome question was heard. The goal and the dream is to have this perhaps a changing message, hopeful message, aqal, where we are going to write a powerful quote. Dun, da, dun, da, da, the mic fell off. Go for it. The mic? Oh, okay. That's good to know. Okay. So I didn't need it that. That was okay. That's good to know. I'm so sorry. Yes, the aqal, the hopeful aqal, is going to have a quote, a changing quote in the door area, and it will always have Black Lives Matter. Yeah.
Okay, can you talk a little bit about the Artist Collective?
Yes, the Artist Collective is amazing. This is the second year that it's happening. I have the lovely pleasure of being a repeat member of the Artist Collective. And for me, like what I love about the Artist Collective is that here's a Cedar Cultural Center saying that I'm going to welcome artists into my organization and sort of have these artists dream, envision, and create and actualize a whole project. And for me, I've been able to do this, this aqal, and then we're able to do it again. For other artists, they've done amazing shows inside the building, outside. Yeah, I want the Artist Collective to continue forever and ever. I hope we can make that happen. Letting the universe know.
Okay. Now, I'm just making up these questions as we go along. One of the things that we were trying to do with the Artist Collective is to increase access and equity to communities of color in the Twin Cities. Yeah. And we were even more concerned about that after the start of the coronavirus and the shutting down of organizations and the small organizations that may not survive, creating more challenges for smaller bars and venues, which may showcase Black and other communities of color, and now we have, this huge challenge of a lot of small businesses that have been destroyed and hit by the looting and the riots. And I'm not pointing a finger at the result of that per se, unless I'll be careful how I say this. Unless we do find out as we think. Let me say this. I support the protests very strongly. We had some unfortunate results of some of that, and we need to find out more information if a lot of these businesses were in fact targeted by a right-wing nationalist or extremists, as it's been reported, and outsiders who didn't really understand and support the community. So basically, I just want you to talk about what you hope for going forward with the communities you're working with and the work you want to do.
I do feel like right now more than ever, we are shown how we are so, interconnected. And so for me, it feels like now is like it's so important to sort of go outside of your organization or your circle of friends and to sort of like reach out and connect, because much like you said, everyone is aching in a different way. The pain is real, the anger is real, and the protesters are needed and are real. But also there has been some damages, and how do we rebuild from that? I'm the artist, so I'm hoping that new interconnected, intercultural connection, intercultural workings are going to come out of this, because I do feel like out of pain comes out of light and new wisdom and new hope and new human connection. So I feel utterly hopeful that that we're definitely going to hopefully do things better. David has abandoned me a little bit, so now I have to. Let's see. What else should I be chatting about? Yeah. Oh, Ajay, that is such a beautiful question. I do feel like that's something that I think about a lot as just a person who has a lot of anxiety. And also as an artist, I do feel like as artists, we we are inherently the people picker upper. Like, we give joy to people. We create art that makes people feel better. And it's been really interesting to all be in this like very needed, uh, urgent pain, sit with it, sit with difficulty time. So it's just been really interesting to like find joy. I kid you not, I do this little thing called small joys, and I just go out to nature and I take videos and stalk squirrels and like ducks, and I make funny, silly little tales about what they might be doing. I may be creating a play that's all about ducks and how ducks make families. Yeah, and I think I've also just been tuning into other artists of color, authors, a lot of poetry, to sort of like build that, to sort of build our hearts, because there's so much deep work that is needed. There are a lot of community traumas that are being unearthed right now, and there is this deep need to listen and to hold space for each other as we go through that. So I hope everyone is asking. So Aja asked me, I will ask you this question too. Aja asked me this beautiful question about how how are you finding joy in this very unique time that we're all in?
Okay. Well, what's been joyful, or as I would say, very deeply impactful for me, is that I finally feel like there's the support and the ear of our community to listen and to address and deal with the criminal justice system and the reform and the issues that have been plaguing the black community. So I'm excited now that I can do posts on Facebook. I'm about to do a post tomorrow called "The Myth of Black on Black Crime." I've been discussing that with people on Facebook already. So now I can do these things, and now we can talk about things, and now we can get ready to really address issues and think about systemic change and think about what we want to do. We haven't figured out what we're going to do, but we have to think about how the Cedar can be supportive and change going forward, and that's what we're going to start doing.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask Audra to pan around and look at the Plaza to see what we got going on today. We're just doing as you know, and this is an impromptu event together tonight, just to kind of kick this off and to start to say that this is the way forward for us to start thinking about a different way forward. And this is the West Bank. This is the community. You see a lot of community elders, the Somali elders sitting in the back from the community. You see a lot of members from the community from other parts. Maybe they live at the Halterman across the street, or maybe they live somewhere else in South Minneapolis, but a lot of people come to the Cedar Cultural Center and to the West Bank. We are a very diverse community, and the camera pan that we just had helped to show that. We have some food over here. So we're just kind of coming together, and we've been closed. Some of our staff actually put the plywood up ourselves last week, after we were concerned about some of the break-ins and the window breaking and one in the breakings of the buildings. We don't want to have it up forever. We want to continue to connect with the community, and we will do it through this live stream events as we go forward. And we'll have these events coming up every 2 weeks or so, and they will be pre-planned, organized, professional events.
Yeah. I like that.
This one is, we have all these professionals working here, but
Yeah.
I'm just getting up here and talking, asking you questions as you are doing too. So
Yeah. We're just going along with it, which is what life is, right? You just go along with it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have anything else to say before we close out tonight about?
Yeah. I hope that we are all deeply asking ourselves with whatever cultures, identities, backgrounds that we come with, we are truly asking ourselves, how can I be a better Minnesotan to my neighbors? More specifically, how can I be, how can we create a better world for Black lives? I think, and for me, I think that's what I am meditating on as well, because I do feel like I come from a different Black experience, much like you do, David. I was just telling somebody earlier that I just learned about the looting, that word, and I think as an immigrant Black person, I have to constantly teach myself the painful parts of this country that wasn't in the textbooks that I was taught in when I was in high school, when I was in college. So there's a lot of education, relearning, checking our biases, even as immigrant Black persons, because we all come from multiple different experiences. So we have to constantly keep relearning and learning. How can we be a better person? How can we make everyone feel visible, heard, cared for? Essentially, that's what we want. And God forbid, not killed. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, I want to thank everybody. Pardon me?
Yes. There's somebody who wants to talk.
Somebody wants to
Woohoo!
talk.
Yes. Then maybe I can continue painting. Are you still live? Should I do a little yes. Hey, how are ya? I'm pretty good. Yes. What's going on over here? Yeah, absolutely. So today we created this mural, and normally we would have community connection, community welcoming, gathering events on the plaza. But today we are especially letting our community know, our neighbors know, who we care about, what we care about, how we feel about what's happening in this country. What's your name? Can I interview you a little bit? Can I practice my interviewing skills on you?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, why not?
What's your name?
My name is Warren.
Warren.
Yes, Warren.
Wonderful.
What is your name?
Ifrah. My name is Ifrah.
Okay, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Lovely to meet you. Warren, what brings you joy?
Peace. Yeah.
Did you had a childhood nickname?
No.
Do you still have a childhood nickname?
No, I don't have a childhood nickname.
Okay.
What is this? Is this like
I was just easing you up before I ask you the tough questions.
Let's just get to the point.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So the prompt or the question that we all want everyone to meditate is, how can we make Minnesota, Minneapolis, even this very space, how can we make this place better for Black lives? How can Minnesota be better for Black lives?
Look, I think what's happened in the last couple of days, basically, the state is majority white. They have to open their eyes, and they have to step in, and they have to, we're all Americans, so we gotta have each other's back, okay?
Yeah.
So, just like they had the little rally over in front of the governor's mansion. If you notice, most of them were white Minnesotans, okay? I've been here all my life, okay? I was here when it was 1% of 1% minorities, okay? So I know there's some good people up here. There's a lot of good Minnesotans. Their parents I grew up with, they help educate me. And so the only way you guys are going to get anything done is if they have your back. And that means everybody got to stand up. I mean, when you see something wrong, speak on it. And so, the millenniums, you guys are taking care of business.
The young people.
Stay away from the crooks and criminals and, the looters. They don't have a goal, but to just steal. That's their goal. They could care less about George Floyd or anybody else that died before them. You know, they dishonor the deaths of innocent black people who have been killed by racist cops. They dishonor them, you know, going back 400 years. So they deserve what they get. You see what I'm saying? So, but now Minnesota's been infiltrated with racist people also from the South and other places like that too. Them are the people that voted for Trump. That's why he's in office. Well, Minnesota didn't go red, but we were like purple. Okay, so, but I think a lot of people are waking up to the fact that he's a divider. You know, and I don't think he's gonna. I think he's gonna be a one-term president, and once he's out of office, the legal system's gonna go after him. He's going to jail. You know, if he doesn't get a second term, he's going to jail. In any case, to get back to this point here, we got to just stick together. I mean, you know, through thick and thin, you know.
Yeah.
The only way we can destroy ourselves is if we destroy ourselves. If we're divided, you know, that's their whole goal, is to keep us divided, to keep the races divided and at each other's throat. Then there's no organization. You see what I mean? That's their goal.
You said you've lived here in Minnesota for a while. Like, did you were you born and raised here? Are you like, oh, neat. Okay.
Street there. Okay.
It's beautiful. Yeah, definitely coming together, and we hope that we see. Only on Cedar, y'all. Only on Cedar.
We had our problems too growing up. You know, I mean, but we worked it out. I mean, I went to a school where there were only 2 blacks in my senior class out of 400. So, but I went to an all-black school, but I needed an education, and so I transferred and caught a bus out to a different one, a public bus out to a different school, because I wanted to know who my counterparts were. I didn't, you know, every black person should have a white friend. Every white person should have a black friend, and brown friend, and Asian friend. That's how this works. That's why we're at. A Christian should have a Muslim friend. A Muslim should have a Christian friend. This is how this system works. Okay.
It's harder to hate to someone you know their story. I think I've heard like a fancier quote of that feeling. It's like the more you know this person, the more like right now, like I am getting to know your life story, and I feel both, a bit more connected to you, and I just love that.
Well,
The idea of just getting out of your bubble, make me new friends.
you got to speak up. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, you got to get past those temptations and just look at a person's soul. You know, it's like the content of their character. You know what I mean? Feel me? So that's a paraphrase. Okay. Said that. Okay.
Warren, thank you so much for sharing with us, and welcome to the neighborhood, to this neighborhood. Okay, sorry.
I call it Little Siamese myself, you know, like Little Italy.
I call it Cedar, because there are Ethiopians, there are Romos, there's some Asians. Everybody's here.
I think it's good
Yeah.
that Christians and Muslims can live together.
Different faiths are here as well. Everybody's here.
You know, so I think that's a beautiful thing. I mean, America's got a long ways to go. We got another, you know, couple of 100 years, but we'll get there.
Yeah,
It takes it takes one person to start it.
it's true.
Everyone just common sense follows.
Warren, I love that you're hopeful. Yeah. All right. Stay blessed. That was amazing. You need to do this more often. Yeah. Why am I screaming? Woohoo! B is here. We should switch. As in, someone else should talk to Bihi so I can finish this.
Maybe we can be together.
Yes, absolutely. So I guess I've been dying to do this conversation. All right. How are you doing, Bihi?
I'm doing good.
Yeah. I feel, okay, I do feel like when people say Cedar, a lot of people probably say your name.
I live here like last 22 years. in Chase Building, and all my kids were born here. So I really love to be around here. It's really nice, and I almost know a lot of people. Yes.
Absolutely. I do feel like, but Pihi, I think you don't know this, but I think met you and saw you when I was like in like undergrad. I was a baby. I was a baby. And I used to like train over here, and I think you were one of the first people to like talk to me as a rando kiddo. Just like going to the U.
Those days you had a big afro.
I had an afro. I don't know where it went. Damn you, stress. Sorry, we can't say the word damn.
Yes. Yeah, it's absolutely an amazing neighborhood. It's beautiful. It's a lot of people. You've got. I remember when I used to work in a campaign, 2004. We used to door knock. Then along the way, we tried to find out how many languages are spoken. 98 languages are spoken in Cedar Riverside. People just think Oromo or Somali. That's not true. Almost the whole world is here. If you want to see the melting pot in the Midwest, it's right here.
We like to call it the salad ball because we don't want nobody melting. We don't want nobody melting. We want everybody keeping what's special, what's neat. Yeah, exactly. The joke is that you keep your corona to yourself. I'ma keep my corona to myself. But we're gonna stand up for what we believe in and fight for it.
We're encouraging people also not to forget corona, to keep the social distancing and to keep covering, because right now what's happening in the country, especially in our community, is making everybody forget about corona. Corona is real and it's happening and it's going up, especially in these times. It's unfortunate and very sad that what happened to George Floyd and has been happening for quite a long time. But I went to the memorial today, to his memorial, and Al Sharpton was a great speaker, and what he said was that he's very hopeful for the first time in his career as an activist, national activist, of seeing things like this so many times. He said he's so hopeful because the young people are leading this. Young people of all races are leading this. It's not about black thing, it's not about white thing, it's not about this thing. It's about young people of this country are leading. And but what's so sad is that we can't go to Cab Food or Target and get milk for our children. We can't do the groceries because some people burned it, and that's not right. We need people to stop burning. We need people to be proactive. We need people to work together. But what's so beautiful, in every tragedy, there's a beauty. In Minnesota, it's a Minnesota culture. And the beauty this time also is that I met so many neighbors I have never seen before, I've never known. We are working together, we're staying up all night. Our young people are leading this. And all our neighbors, business people, some of them on the roofs, some of them on the corners, and we are all staying up just to keep our community together. And that's the Minnesota culture. We have seen food everywhere, groceries everywhere. I've seen a Black Lives supporter who's Caucasian on a bike and a trailer delivering food to the elders on a bike, just by himself. So the things we are seeing, it's amazing times. Tragedies happen, we're gonna move on, but what we need is we need to stay on to seek and ask for justice.
We do.
Yes.
Yeah. I think, like, for me, like, what I truly want is Minnesotans coming out to be together to respond to the looting, to the fires. I want people to use that energy to ask and demand and seek for justice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think for me, like, I really want to hear more about that hopeful future, and especially as a young person. I think it's just been really interesting. I have to constantly remind myself to say, America has to change, America will change, and America will honor Black lives. America will let Black lives thrive. I think, but for us, I feel like as immigrants, as immigrant Blacks, this is a history that we are just thrown into, like, and we have to constantly like learn how America works on Black bodies and how we build relationship with African Americans, with other minorities, and it's just been really interesting to to see Somali folks that are out on the protest. But I do feel like I don't know if you are aware of the word what is it? Anti-black. Yeah, we were talking about it earlier. But I think without not getting into it too deep, I think yeah. How do you show other minorities, specifically African Americans, that
We started this work a long time ago, and the problem started. What alerted us was when our young high schoolers were fighting in Washburn, Roosevelt, African American kids, Somali, Oromo kids. Then I reached out to a person I saw on TV, a great activist called Al Flowers. He was doing his MTN show. It was funny because when I told him, he was actually saying something nasty about this immigrant Somali community. So I said, hey, Al, I'm Somali. I would like to reach out to you. And he was like, oh, I'm tall. Come over here. And he was like, no, I'm not that tall. I'm inviting him to Cedar Riverside so we can have a goat meat and rice. And we did. And I gave him a tour. Then we decided to bring the community together. Because when people don't know each other, it's a lot of problems could happen. So the first meeting we did with our East African elders and also African American elders happened at the New Salem Baptist Church in Northside. I remember it was like -20. It was a winter time. And we had about 4 hours meeting. And it was amazing. Every Tuesday, we used to meet at the New Salem Baptist Church by bringing the leaders, the young people together. And our Reverend McAfee, Jerry McAfee, was amazing. Actually, he loves goat meat like me. So we started an event to call Goat on the Grill. 300 people come together. And then we did our second event here at the Cultural Center. So that's relationship we've been building for the past 17 years, bringing the community together. And I think we are seeing the goodness of it. There's a lot of work to be done too.
I do love that food is an inherent connector. And I was gonna make a joke and said, clearly, goat meat can cure your anti-black, but we don't want to go there. We're not there yet. But food is definitely an inherent connector. And you're right. What happens is that everybody stays in their lovely corners, and then we don't really get to connect each other. And then sometimes when we do connect each other, it's often of a pain, of of violence that happened, and then we have to or tragedy, and then we have to rush, and it's like a bunch of strangers working together. And I love the idea of like communities constantly building and and connecting. And I feel like Bihi, that's one thing you are really good at. You're like a human connector.
Yeah, actually, I was just having a conversation with Emmy, saying on the chat on the West Bank, I've seen so many people want to meet the community. So this is the perfect place and the perfect institution to bring arts and music, to bring people together, because if people don't know each other, no matter how good intentioned they are, you will always live in fear and suspicion. So when you see 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, young people on the street working with their the business owners, working with our, other residents of other cultures, and working together and keeping their community safe, that's beautiful. But we need to go beyond that. We need to have events to meet. We need to connect. But also we want to talk about and chat about the realities on the ground. Unemployment in this community, in the East African community or Somali community, is 25% now. That's huge. And the average age in the Somali community throughout the state is 20 years. That's a young population, extreme high unemployment, a lot of discrimination, a lot of police brutality. So we need to have those conversations and tell everyone and know also what's happening on the other side and know what's going on. We also have young people who are not really doing well. That could be part of the problem. We need also to listen to that and come together and create jobs and create equity and also create programs for young people. We have highly dense neighborhood that's really a lot of people and less resources. So we need to work on that and see, we have a spot right there. That spot is empty. And people are dying to get a library and other things done. So we need to, today is just a talk, but we need to really continue to coming together and have many conversations. There are so many issues that we need to hear and learn from people. But one thing I can tell you, I live here 22 years, worked for the community for 24 years. I love it and I enjoy it. And one part of it I enjoy is people I invite from Wisconsin, from Duluth, from St. Paul, and I give them a tour. They love it, and I invite them to come here at 2 o'clock. So imagine walking 2 o'clock around, and not a single incident. It's peaceful.
Yeah, absolutely. I do feel like, you know, I feel the same way. I'm a woman, and apparently the world needs to hurt me at night. I feel the most safe when I'm here in this neighborhood at night, and some of my family live out in the suburbs, and I don't feel safe walking in the suburbs by myself. And there is that feeling of like, you know, the community got you, like we got you because you're a part of the village, and we're gonna come to your aid. At this point, I see Hamza. Are you looking? Oh my God! I really fell for that. Absolutely. Yeah. Should I get you in here? Are you shy? Yeah, because I love the shirt you're wearing. I want you to rock the shirt you're wearing. Okay, weird air hug. We are safe air hug.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Okay, yeah. I'm supposed to, so we need to be in the center of Aja so that she, yeah. Walaikum salam, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, alhamdulillah. Satai.
Alhamdulillah. Are you safe?
Everything is dying down, so I do feel safe. But still, I guess I feel like we're still doing more. Yeah.
Absolutely. Have you been out and protesting and?
All things protesting. If you're here at night, we're doing like a community patrol, and looking after our neighborhood and looking after our elders and brothers and sisters. The brothers and sisters have been really out here every night, like just checking up on like with relatives, and also like there's like food, like the mixed blood. They're doing like food delivery over there for people. So if people want it, they can help. They can be helped.
I have been stalking Angie, who's being shy over there. I've been stalking her Facebook, and she does a really beautiful job of posting all these beautiful things that's happening in the neighborhood. And I think one of your posts was like, yo, the people that are watching your neighborhood all night are the kids. And you're like, I want you to leave them alone in the future. Just remember that. And it's just been really beautiful how everyone is showing up. And thank you so much. And I think Abdurrahman was here earlier, and he said that y'all are like packing and serving more than 200 families.
The guy before me?
No, he was trying to be shy. He was like, Ifrah, I don't have my mascara on. I can't be on camera. I was like, okay.
I feel that way. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like a community coming together wise, because like the police and like the government ain't being really out here, so it's just like something like people are doing currently to just like basically take care of our communities. And it's not like what's great about it is just that it's not just Cedar, it's like all the surrounding neighborhoods of black and brown communities that are just coming together.
I love that, and I feel like sometimes this is another reason why I'm looking at Aja and Taylor's work is that y'all do a wonderful job of like showing us the ways in which our communities come together, whether you document it or you Facebook about it. You're like, I know whatever whatever you've seen on the media does not reflect how the communities are showing up for each other. And I wasn't even physically here in Cedar, and I'm like, until I saw your post, I was like, oh, I can't believe the kids are pulling an all-nighter guarding the community. That's so beautiful.
Well, it really is. Like, especially times like these, when like we only have ourselves and the community to rely on, it's really beautiful to just see like people like coming together, that having that communal instinct of protecting each other.
As a young, brown, black man living in America, do you feel hopeful that America will change its ways? And do you feel like what's happening right now is gonna elicit some needed change?
Maybe not hopeful, but hopefully faith that after this, people will see what people are talking about and like what's going on is true, and that it will change, like not just because it's not a Minneapolis issue. Minneapolis is the hotspot now because it's been like something that nobody else chose to hear us for. And I hope that it's like a nationwide thing, because like it's gonna, like it has to either change or we're gonna have this like 5 years from now again. So
Perhaps maybe more humans know about the truth and you know the brutalness of this country if you are a brown and black body, and the hope is that all of those humans and hearts will be activated and those humans will create change. For me, like I've been trying to, while I really want to like shout and scream and affirm Black Lives Matter, what I truly want to say in my heart is that I want to see Black lives thriving and living and thriving. Yeah. And I think that's like I feel like I'm like an elder compared to you, Hamza. And like so I imagine like the world that we're handing down to you all and the problems and like the timeless problems that we do not have like a good right away solutions. But yeah, also, what brings this is a beautiful question made by Aja, our fantastic uh, videographer, photographer, all round awesomeness. What brings you joy?
art and community, walai. See, and I guess like the black experience being part of it, and just like all that culture and everything is like my joy every day.
Can you tell us a little bit more where your shirt is from and what's the rest of it? All we see is black.
This is for the brothers who got arrested, and it's not only just for them. It's like for all the other brothers that have been oppressed and arrested and killed. Because like last year was like Isaf Aden, and there's like the five I think 6 brothers who are facing long time jail sentences for like minor things that the government really got them like locked up for. And basically this is like it's still like the blackness was their target, and then them being a Muslim was the other thing that the government wanted to arrest them for. And this basically is like to help support their fund to help them get like lesser sentences because the justice system ain't working for people. So people have to go and do this to try to get them out earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. It does feel like we are showing how, unfortunately, our oppressions are so interconnected, and we are seeing that we all need to like come together and sort of like organize. As you see, like some of us have other identities that we're being oppressed for, whether you are black and Muslim. So I thank you so much for rocking that shirt, and thank you for being. The little aqal is back. It's only 2D, but it's shouting Black Lives Matter. There's supposed to be a powerful quote where the orange is at. Sorry, Aja, we didn't give you the quote. We'll get you the quote. Yeah, absolutely. So at this point, do we have that awkward ending where we say goodbye but don't really say goodbye because that's the Minnesota culture? Yes. Thank you so much for tuning us. And are you going to send us off, Robert? Yes, thank you so much, Hamza.
Thank you for
Thank you,
having
Hamza.
us. Huh?
Oh, is there anything else?
Oh no, I love seeing Ifrah and the art. I missed the aqal that you had over here, and inshallah, maybe this 2D can become 3D again.
I know.
Yeah, because I never seen these colors before on aqal.
Oh, you're right. We have to bring back a painted version of aqal, you're right. Yeah, but I definitely love Black Lives Matter 2D aqal. 2D aqal, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, bye. Have a good rest of your day.
Absolutely, absolutely, my dear.
All right, so yeah, I think we're coming up to the end of it. So thanks, Ifrah. Is there anything else that you want to say before we close out?
No, I'm going to continue to finish this and hopefully it will feel finished. But thank you so much. Thank you for being brave Minnesotans out there. Go love on each other. We need that.
Great. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. Thank you to everybody who donated to make this happen. Thank you to everybody for your patience as we got started and got things rolling today. We know that it was a little rough. And so thank you for sticking with us through it. I hope that you're staying safe. I hope that you stay healthy. And we'll see you next time. All right? Thank you so much. Bye.